room. Also talked to Jim Clemens. He said, guys, we got to run our offense. We're just poor executing on the offensive end of the glass, on the offensive end of the floor, I should say, and Chris Paul is controlling us instead of controlling them. We've got to play with a lot more energy than we did in that first half. We'll see if they can change that, guys, in the second.
Okay, thank you. And now our thoughts are with Lamar Odom. Thanks to Michael Eaves outside the Lakers locker room, and he'll continue to give us updates as soon as the Lakers provide them. Stojakovic, long, and David West will save it. The ricochet.
There was a good example of a long shot and a long rebound. Trevor reached for it, but he couldn't get to it.
Foul is called. So the second half starts the way the first half ended, with a whistle. First on Kobe.
Kobe reached around on Chris Paul. Looked like he got nothing but ball, but the official says, no, you got him. So the whistle sounded. First foul on Kobe.
The two teams combined to shoot 38 free throws in the first half, and David West continues to fill it up. He had good space over Pau Gasol that time. 7-point lead.
Well, they've got to get Pau going here. I mean, that's some of the story. Obviously, the defense is the biggest part, but Pau has to get on the board.
Kobe, quick release. Rasul Butler trying to recover. 19 for Kobe. 5-point deficit for the Lakers. So we're watching a display by, you can make an argument that he is the best lead guard in the NBA today. Off that time, and Andrew Bynum takes it away from Kobe and Pau Gasol. And I bring it up because a couple of years ago it was clearly Steve Nash.
Well, right now it is Mr. Paul.
Kobe back to back. Lakers down by 3, 63-60, and 21 for Kobe on 7 of 9.
Yeah, he's been very, very efficient tonight. 21 points on only 9 official attempts. That's efficiency.
He scored 25 or more in 11 consecutive games. Longest run in the NBA is Tyson Chandler just imposing himself inside on Andrew Bynum. And a couple of free throws coming up for Tyson Chandler. Back down outside the locker room, Michael Eaves.
Yeah, Joe, we have the official word now. Lamar will not return in the second half tonight. When he came back on the court to try to work through some of that soreness, as I mentioned, see if he had some stability. He didn't feel it was there, so they decided to take him out of this game for the rest of the evening. He will also undergo an MRI tomorrow morning, and the Lakers hope to put out an official release on his condition sometime in the afternoon.
All right, thank you. So bad news all the way around for the Lakers, and our thoughts,
especially for Lamar.
Yeah, with Lamar Odom. With 12 points tonight, 3 assists, a great start overall, very active.
Tyson Chandler, 4 out of 4 from the free throw line, 2 out of 2 from the field. Yeah, he just has to stay on the floor for the Hornets.
Yeah, and last year, a guy that shot 59% at the stripe. Kobe splitting the double, setting it up for Derek Fisher. And Fish comes through. 2-point game. Kobe on the assist. Fish, his third triple of the game, and he's got 10.
Well, Kobe realizes that, one, Chris Paul likes to come off of his man and try to get steals, and Kobe's finding Derek, and hopefully Derek can continue to find the hoop.
Chris Paul trying to get it to Tyson Chandler, rejected that pass.
And that was definitely a pass. I wonder if the official scorekeeper will give a block shot on that, but that was the pass.
He had Chandler trying to get the backdoor lob.
And that's a good play by Andrew, because if he doesn't jump, that's a lob that's going to be successful.
It's a 2-point game, 2 minutes gone here in the third. David West, boy, is he red hot tonight. David West has 17 on 6 of 10 shooting. Well, they got 6th year out of Xavier of Ohio.
I'm going to repeat it. They've got to get Powell involved in the offense.
This is his first touch at the second half. And now up against West, the double. And does he get the roll? Finally, he's on the board.
You see who came in to stop the dribble? Chris Paul again.
David West free again. Same result. Target practice the way he's shooting tonight. 19 for David West, right at his average.
Well, 19 for him, 23 for Chris Paul.
Andrew Bynum falling away against Tyson Chandler.
But Tyson can make you do that with his jumping ability. You have to put your body on him. You can't give him a free jump.
Chris Paul, the great look for Tyson Chandler. What a pass by Chris Paul. That is his 8th, making his 9th now. Assist of the game. Chandler into double figures. 6-point ball game. Pau Gasol getting West out of position. Will shoot 2. So David West just got his 3rd foul. He had 2 in the first 6 minutes of the game.
The best defense against a guy that's hot as David West is making play defense. As Chris Paul just surgically taking the Lakers apart right now. I mean, whether it's scoring for himself or that left-handed pass to Tyson Chandler, I think beauty.
First trip to the free throw line for Pau Gasol. The Lakers are now 14 of 19 at the stripe, 74%, 19 of 22, 86%. And you had mentioned it helps when a guy like Tyson Chandler is 4 of 4. So Gasol with a couple, and the Lakers back within 4. It's been a game of catch-up all night long for the Lakers. They relaxed, in fact, with 2 minutes to play in the half, too much so. They tied it at 50. And the Hornets went on a 9-0 run.
They got very careless. I mean, it was tied at 50, and then they must have had, in 5 possessions or so, 4 turnovers.
David West trying to get to the rim. Did exactly that around Pau Gasol. 21 for West.
I think David West has heard enough about how Pau has been a difficult match for him. He is really taking it right now.
On the handoff, Monovich blowing the dunk. Paul has Butler, and Butler won't make any mistakes with that slam. 75-67, and the Lakers need a timeout.
Yeah, Phil Jackson not happy. He hasn't been happy with a lot of what's been going on for quite some time in this ball game. 8:15 left in the third, and the Lakers back down by 8. Coming up, Chris Paul's Hall of Fame credentials, I'll say.
G-Coop. Brilliant display tonight by the gifted guard of the Hornets, Chris Paul, already with 23 points and 10 assists. He's got him up by 8, and there's only 4 players that so far in their careers, and these guys have retired, averaging 18 and 9, the Big O, Isaiah Thomas. So the requirement is 18 plus points, 9 plus assists. Magic Johnson, of course, for the Lakers, and now Chris Paul, and it's very early in his career, 4th year out of Wake Forest. But he's already shown that if he stays healthy, the numbers are only going to get better for the Hornets as a franchise. He is that good.
Scary thing is he's getting better.
Yeah,
that's the scary thing.
His season high is 17 assists, career best 21. And we've seen it before. Don't forget, early in the season, and it was 2 years ago when the Hornets won here. And it was actually last year at the beginning of the year in November. You remember when Stojakovic had 10 three-pointers? Hornets won that game, and it was all set up by Chris Paul. He's spaced. As Kobe on the step back has kept the Lakers close. He's got 23, only 2 other Lakers in double figures. That is Lamar, who's out for the night, unfortunately, with a hyper-extended knee. Lamar with 12 and 10 for Fish.
Kobe shooting 80% from the field.
You've got to cover that guy. David West. Maybe. Yeah, you got to put somebody on his hip pocket. He's got 23 points, and he's been hot out of the locker room. In fact, the Hornets are 7 of 9 to start the second half. Here's Andrew Bynum. He barely got to the rim with that jump hook. An 8-point deficit at 77-69, but there's got to be other sources right now for the Lakers other than Kobe. And will it be Pau Gasol? David West, right on line.
Yeah, he thought he made that one.
He's feeling that good about that.
Well, he was in his back pedal.
He was 9 of 14 with 23 points. Kobe, challenge deep 3, makes no difference. That was on the sideline. Back to 5. So Kobe with 26, averaging 27 a game coming in. And he knows, he senses it. You can feel it, Stu, that they need him offensively tonight more than as a facilitator.
Let's see what they do about the defensive end now. I mean, they've got to make some adjustments with Chris Paul's high screen roll and this man right here, David West.
And David West on a roll, and Andrew Bynum came over to help out as the secondary defender.
See, that's what you do to guys that are hot from the field. You have to make them take it to the basket.
Paul knocked it off, and I'm talking about Chris Paul, knocked it away from Pau Gasol out of bounds.
When I mean by make a guy like David West take it to the basket as your teammate, I can't help you if you're letting him shoot jump shots. I can help you if you're forcing to dribble the ball where I can get it, where I can come into play.
Okay, Andrew Bynum with Chris Paul. And on the deflection, David West with the shot clock coming down all season. Got it close. Real short. And a good job by Gasol taking it away from Tyson Chandler. Only a 5-point deficit for the Lakers, giving up so many points. Kobe asking for and receiving the pick. And still goes with it. Will it stay down? It will. Kobe coming through. 77-75. That is the definition of great touch. Paul goes to the line looking for the 3-point play. How tough is this kid?
I tell you, he's going to dislocate one of these big shoulders. Andrew Bynum was swinging at that one again. when you swing and swing hard and get nothing but air, whoo, it takes a toll. As Chris Paul just making sure Derek doesn't get back into position. And Andrew Bynum tried to get the block, but not able to.
He got the three-point play. So Chris Paul now with 11 assists and 26 points on a real clean 9 of 15. But overall, the Lakers just haven't stopped. 56% shooting. Another. Kobe's got a triple, keeping the Lakers in it. 80-78. What a performance at the opposite end.
He's 11 out of 13 from the field. Oh my goodness.
Chris Paul. Not that time. Radmanovich tracks it down. Lakers look to tie it or take the lead.
Yeah. I know if they goes to Kobe, the crowd will stand up because they know what's going to happen. There's going to be another shot or two.
It'll be Radmanovich with the foul. Or Naked Stojakovic, rather, with the foul on the pass. And a good job by Vlade, because that was the mismatch inside Gasol with Stojakovic on his back.
I mean, Kobe's last basket, he just catch and elevate. Thought he said he got fouled on it. He looked at the official and said, he hits me on the arm after the ball is released.
This is wild. 80-78. A lot of D tonight. 5+ to play in the third. And the whistle from the baseline. Is it going to be Butler tracking Kobe?
Yep. Held him as he went through.
Russell Butler. He was trying to tangle with him on his way through the paint. Third team foul. Third on Butler.
That's the best way to stop Kobe. Don't let him catch the ball. If you have to hold him, hold him.
Hot hand is Kobe. Fish on the run out, and Gasol. Right over Tyson Chandler. Put his body into it. It is tied, believe it or not, at 80.
It's hard to jump when you got another 200+ pounds on you. That's why shot blockers, you go to their chest so that they really can't elevate as much.
The channel defense. Okay.
What is that, a new dance?
Is there going to be a sighting? Stojakovic, good run out. He got it anyway. Stops an 11-3 run. Pays to Stojakovic. Oh, man. That's only his second basket of the night. He's got 6. Kobe off the pick by Bynum. Step back. Inside the arc. Long two. 17 of the quarter for Kobe as he is up to 34.
People in Staples Center have seen this act before from Kobe many, many times.
83-82 Hornets. Paul looking for anybody inside. Now
you close on him.
Yeah, got to put a hand up. He got the shot he wanted. It was a nice little floater and a step back from about 8-10 feet. Lakers only down by a point. They've only led once in this game by a single point. Kobe weaves his way, setting up Radmanovich, the rainbow. Right back to Stojakovic.
Just a little too strong. It was right on the line.
Yeah, the emotions in this building. A one-point game. Hesitation by West, throws it away. Turnover gives it back to the Lakers with 3:32 to play in the third. And Trevor Ariza is going to be checking in for Radmanovich.
James Posey came in for Russell Butler.
And they will not let Ariza check in yet. Shea got to the table too late.
Well, it wasn't because he didn't hustle down there.
He ran.
Trevor, I like the way he gets to the scorer's table like he does everything else with quickness.
So inside of 3.5 left. The Lakers get the lead for the first time of the second half. Fish, they leave him alone. He'll burn him. 85-83. Derek Fisher up to 13. All 4 of his baskets tonight have been three-pointers. He's 1 of 2 at the free throw line.
Well, Kobe is really making it easy for other players now because they're sending everybody at him.
Inside of 3. David West with a high hand, but he hasn't had many touches over the last couple of minutes. Trying to get Gasol out of position. Instead, they leave their shooting. Not this time, though, for Stojakovic. And Chris Paul with the reach. 4th team foul. So the Lakers not shooting yet with 2:48 to play. Timeout. And what a wild one this has turned into. What a shootout.
A shootout is a good description of this one. 2:48 left in the third. And both teams have somebody that's really getting it done. Well, the Hornets have a couple of somebodies. And, of course, the Lakers have stopped.
Out of the timeout, though, a turnover. Stojakovic not close. And Fisher gave it away on the pass as it was picked off by Chris Paul. Gets it right back. A break that Stojakovic isn't his usual self at Staples. 2 of 8 overall. Kobe, though, the story, and Derek Fisher. That's the first miss from either one of them here in the third. Kobe is 7 of 7, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. And now Chris Paul slices his way to the rim. I thought he was going to curl it home.
He thought so, too.
Oh, man.
And he put some spin on that ball.
Too much. Ariza, the triple. Stays out. Gasol there trying to clean it up. And Posey on the reach has his 4th foul. Free throws now for Pau Gasol. They're over the limit.
And that's a foul that Posey can't afford because he's guarding Kobe. You got to save all of your fouls for number 24 because you're going to commit some. Or maybe not.
Now, before those 2 misses, the Lakers 11 of 15, so now 11 of 17 here in the third. 11 of 17. And
thank you, Kobe and Fish.
Yeah, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. 2 of 3 to play. With the Lakers with their biggest lead of the game at 3. 86-83. They have played from behind all night long. In fact, it was 77-69. 4 minutes into the third before the Lakers went on a 16-6 run.
It's going to be interesting to see if Phil Jackson gives Kobe the top of the quarter rest that he normally does. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, he's got 29 minutes out there, 31 for Derek Fisher.
Yeah, but when a player is this hot, he doesn't get tired. He doesn't even think about fatigue.
Leave him there until he asks. And I don't think Kobe will ever ask anything. Come on. Inside of 2 to play. Lakers by 4, 87-83, and Fish picking up the first in the final 2 minutes. So now that's the last foul to give for the Lakers.
You know, we talk about all these battles, but the battle at the point guard with Chris and Derek, that's always fun to watch. They've been really going at one another.
Andrew Bynum floating over to the strong side. Chandler coming into the middle of the paint, but it's David West getting the hole and blowing the layup as Bynum kept it away from Tyson Chandler. Kobe thinking 3. No. How about a dunk? Pau Gasol. Kobe on the assist.
Now that was the smartest play of the night. Kobe had an open look at a 3, but getting Pau involved with a sure 2 points.
Well, Pau has 10 points here in the third. So Pau Gasol 0 for 4, and now hasn't missed so far here in the third. Trying to track the water butt. And leaving Stojakovic. What a break.
Wow.
He is now 2 for 9.
Trevor dodged a major bullet.
And a glare from the bench. Kobe off the Gasol pick. Fish spacing if he wants it. Instead over David West. First miss of the third for Kobe. On the run out, David West available. Man, he's got the dunk. Pau, or make it Chris Paul, as Pau Gasol tried to get back into it. Chris Paul, how creative with the passes. That's 25 for David West, 26 for Chris Paul to go along with 13 assists now. How about that pass? And it frees up Kobe. Gets the best of Posey. Andrew Bynum got it right back to him. Why not? Lakers 92-85.
Well, Kobe stopped and came back from where he had just vacated. Posey thought he was going to continue. That's what happens when you think, I guess.
Chris Paul in the spin. A little flip. He's so talented. 28 for Chris Paul. Keeping it now close for New Orleans at 92-87. About 6 seconds separating the game clock, shot clock. As Kobe will keep it up top against the length of James Posey.
They're trying to take it out of his hand.
And they did for a triple for Ariza. That's a wedge.
A little soon also. I don't know what the differential was, but I know it wasn't 8, 9 seconds.
Now Chris Paul step back over Bynum. And there's a foul on the floor. And a couple of free throws coming up. It'll be Tyson Chandler going to the line.
Trevor.
Derek Fisher with the foul.
Gary. Wow.
They're both just trying to keep Tyson Chandler away from the rim, the potential rebound, or the lob. So with a second to play, Tyson Chandler back at the free throw line where he is perfect so far. He is 4 of 4, 20 of 23, and make it 21 of 24 for the Hornets. Well, if you ever dreamt of having your picture taken with the entire Lakers squad, here's your chance with Chili's making the Lakers contest. To enter, visit a participating Chili's restaurant, take a picture with a Chili's team member, then submit it online. Lakers.com/Chili's. Enter now, and it's ending on the 20th pitch at the buzzer. Wide right. So the Lakers, trailing by 5 at the half, go to the break, up by 3.
Wow, what a fourth quarter we're going to have. Both teams are hot right now. Nobody's playing the type of defense it's going to take to win.
On 31 makes.
The only time the ball is not in his hand is when he's passing it for someone to shoot, or he's shooting it himself.
So
Reminds me back in the day when Nate Archibald led the league in scoring and assists. Had the ball all the time. Well, he was a nightmare to try to defend.
So Kobe 13 of 16 overall from the field. Jet, as you mentioned, was yet to miss from beyond the arc. So Kobe up against Posey. Inside the arc, a little step through. Lost the handle, was knocked away. Couldn't get the glass. And picked up by West. Josh Powell out there for the first time tonight. Butler stepping into a three. And long rebound. Coming out to David West. So Sasha out there on the dive. It's Butler. And it'll be a foul on Pau Gasol.
That's why you try to dunk in traffic. You're more apt to get a whistle. If he tries to be cute with that one, probably Powell blocks it and no whistle. So always attack the rim with aggression. Nice job by Rasul Butler.
And if you're wondering why Josh Powell's out there as opposed to potentially Lamar Odom, Lamar Odom is out for the rest of the night, as he was injured, hyperextended knee, just landed awkwardly in the first half. So our thoughts are at LO right now. He's got an MRI scheduled for tomorrow, so not be the Lakers at Golden State, at least on the trip tonight. MRI tomorrow morning. So a couple of free throws for Rasul Butler, and it's back to a 1-point lead for the Lakers at 92-91.
Now they got Sasha running the point. Have to be very careful with Chris Paul.
Sasha wide open. And Josh Powell going back at it. And they'll call a walk.
Is that a crab dribble?
LeBron. Where's that jump stop? Opening minute of the fourth. And for the Lakers, their 9th turnover compared to 8 for the Hornets.
You talk about a back and forth game. This is the prime example of one of those. Look at Chris. See? Ball's in his hand. Ball's in his hand.
He never gives up the dribble, and now he does. And David West is denied.
Good job by Trev.
Trevor Ariza looked like he got a piece of it. Sasha wanted to go to Pau Gasol. That wasn't available. Down the floor. A good idea. It was a low percentage look on the pass if he goes there. Kobe wants it. Here comes the quick double. It'll be Ariza on the run out, and right by David West, and it's batted away by West. Gasol will save it. Second chance opportunity for the Lakers. Kobe held by Butler. So Rasul Butler gets his fourth. First team foul. So they're even in team fouls at the outset of the fourth.
And that's what you have to do when a guy is as hot as Kobe is. You are forced to just be all over him, and because he handles the ball so well both directions, he's going to get by you.
Kobe going back the other way, waiting for the pick. And running here a whistle. It'll be picked up by Posey. Opportunity now for the Hornets to take the lead. And Chris Paul. He creates contact. He will invade your space. He does it very, very effectively.
And as a defender, that's exactly what your complaint is to officials. Sometimes you say to them, where am I supposed to go when he jumps into me? And Chris Paul comes down, and is that a little bit of a carry?
Not much.
Just a tad. But that's his normal dribble is similar to that. He gets weighted.
Inside of 10 on the shot clock. David West going to the hole with the left hand, and they call the foul. So free throws coming up for David West. Foul on Gasol. Riding him. And West a perfect 5 of 5 at the free throw line with a double-double. Fourth on Pau Gasol. So they lost a close one and came back from a big deficit at Denver. That snapped a 4-game winning streak for the Hornets. And they're trying to get their first win over the Lakers this season. Lakers win. They have already taken the season series. It'll be their 3rd straight this year over the Hornets.
Well, I mean, what I said earlier, it's important for the Hornets to, to win this game. Obviously important for the Lakers, too. But I think more important for the Hornets because these two teams are probably going to face each other in the playoffs sometime. And you don't want to go into a series with a team that mentally you just don't think you can beat them.
They were eliminated last year in the postseason by San Antonio. And on the back tap.
That's a punch with the fist, wasn't it?
Right. You got it. Joe Crawford got it. It'll go back to the Lakers. It was Hilton Armstrong. You can back tap it, but you can't close your fist on the basketball.
You're not allowed to use a closed fist to hit the basketball, period. And, you can see Hilton Armstrong's fist, or clenched hand there, clenched fist, violation.
Early touch for Gasol in the half-court set against Hilton Armstrong.
Well, he had him baseline.
Yeah, I thought so too. Now Sasha instead for three. And good pass for Josh Powell. Powell cleans it up. A 2-point lead for the Lakers.
There's a good close on the shot by Sasha, by David West. Sasha normally draws iron.
Straight and roll game. Chris Paul. It's an air ball. You can see it almost like when he jumped it up, it was out of his hands, like he lost it a little bit. Kobe, last pass, Posey on a roll. He'll finger roll it home. 4-point Laker lead as Kobe is up to 39.
Well, Phil Jackson answered my question. What was he going to do at the top of the quarter when he normally rests Kobe? I'm sure Kobe said, look, let me play.
Hot, and they need his offense too much. David West again. He was trying to step back and create contact and pointed to Kobe like he got hit. He'll take the bucket. He will. 28 for David West. Kobe looking for space against Butler. Sets it up. Ariza, another try. This time, he'll get it. 5-point Laker lead. Trevor Ariza with 8 points off the bench on 8 shots.
And that's going to be available because of all the attention Kobe's getting. Foul on Sasha.
Yeah, they call the reach. So the Lakers with their third team foul. Make it 4. They're out of fouls the rest of the game. Only one so far on the Hornets. That's important.
One of those nights for Sasha. He can't do anything without getting the whistle. 8:20 left in the fourth. Lakers by 5. When we come back, Michael Lees will have a chat with that man, Luke Walton.
And welcome back to Staples Center. The Lakers hanging on to a 5-point lead over the Hornets, 99-94. Michael Lee's back courtside with you, joined now by Luke Walton, who would much rather be in the game. And we take a look at the boot you have on tonight, Luke. Sesamoiditis, am I saying that right? We were trying to explain what that was before the game. Basically, it's an irritation with the tendons and the bones you have going into your big foot and your big toe.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it tough to do, to play basketball because it's right on the ball of your foot. So it's every time you step or you run and you cut, you use that part of your foot. And, I try to play through it in the Utah game and then practice the next day, and it just got worse and worse. So we had to shut it down for a little bit.
You're going to have the boot on for at least a week, do some rehab exercises in the pool. Do you hope to be back at that 2-week notice that the team gave everyone else?
I hope to be back as soon as I can. I mean, every morning I get up, I try to take the boot off and test it out a little bit. So as soon as it stops hurting, I'm going to try to get out there and play again.
All right, final 8 minutes of this game. Play TV basketball analyst for me. How do the Lakers hang on and win this game?
Well, we're going to have to stop their pick and roll. David West and Chris Paul are playing great tonight, and that's what they're going to go to at the end of the game. We've got to be aggressive and not let that beat us.
All right, Luke, appreciate the time. Get well soon.
Thank you very much.
Hey, guys, with this bench getting shorter, definitely need Luke Walton back on the floor as soon as possible.
All right, and Kobe, too, as he's over on the bench. That's going to be real short. Ariza tries to track it. Chris Paul comes away with it. He's got a man advantage. Ariza behind the play now. His space, Butler. And Rasul Butler ties it up at 99. So David West, well, Luke Walton was talking with Michael Lees. And Butler up to 10. Got the bucket to go up to 30 points. His season high is 33. Sasha, quick catch and shoot. Off the fingertips of Butler. A break for the Hornets. Goes right to Chandler.
And it's a dangerous time for the Lakers because the bulk of their offense was coming at the hands of 24. Now somebody else has to generate. And who's going to be Powell in the post?
David West going to the line. So the Lakers are out of fouls. That was a shooting foul anyway. It's called on Josh Powell, who did a pretty good job defensively to stay in front of David West.
They do protect shooters, though. That's something that's always happened and always will happen, and it's a good thing because it doesn't take much contact at all to disrupt a shot. If you just barely touch a shooter on the hand or whatever, or an arm, his shot's going haywire. It's Kobe checking back into the game.
Yeah, he'll be back in between free throws. David West giving the Hornets the lead by 1. Right now on a 6-0 run, New Orleans. Sasha sits down, Kobe back in, and Kobe with 39. Season high, it came at Orlando, 41. And there's the story tonight with the Bobcats winning in overtime. Missed free throw by Felton in regulation. Been only a 2-point lead for the Bobcats. Pierce tied. The Bobcats with the hustle plays down the stretch. Rockets are really in a bad way. In the last couple of weeks, they have not been able to get out of their own way. 7-0 run for New Orleans as the Rockets lost to Philadelphia tonight. And a 2-point lead for New Orleans here. And the Lakers only 1 home loss this year. Game at the hand of the Pistons on November 14th. Josh Powell facing up over David West. And picked up by Posey. Pau Gasol was all locked up with Tyson Chandler. So a dry spell at the wrong time for the Lakers. Still a lot of time. 6:45 to play.
7-0 run here. They were up 5, and now David West put them up 4. So
his night. Yeah. And a season high now for David West of 34, and not far from his career best. So whether it's Stojakovic, West, or Paul, and Stojakovic not a factor. Kobe got Butler out of position into space, and a rare miss as Powell comes away with it.
Well, Josh Powell's an excellent offensive rebounder. When you talk about moving your feet and going to get the ball.
Fish out on the arc. Derrick coming up empty. Off the lip of the rim. So let's see if the Lakers they're not going to get to the free throw line if they settle for threes. Down by 4. 103-99. Ariza Campbell. And keeps it alive. Took it away from Posey.
That's why they teach you to keep the ball in 2 hands.
And now Derek Fisher, the distance. And it's out of bounds off Kobe. Fish is going to get a team.
Foul.
Yeah. He's got to finish plays like that, and I can understand his frustration. And how much contact was there on that play?
As he brings it up, he thinks he has an opening, which he does. And he, just anticipated the contact, and then Kobe knocks it out of bounds. So we've got a timeout. 5:54 to go in the 4th, and the Lakers, well, they're trailing again.
Took over. They scored 36 points. It's the other extreme so far, unfortunately, for the Lakers here in the 4th. Taking way too many threes. They're 3 of 14 shooting in the final 12 minutes. So, Maria Sharapova, Jack Nicholson, as usual here at Staples Center. And after the technical, right before the timeout, David West. Technical on Derek Fisher. David West going to the line. He's only got 1 misser, 8 of 9. In fact, 27 of 31 for the Hornets.
Oh, that basket looks so big for David West right now. He could probably make that with his eyes closed.
He's got 35. He's only 5 off his career high.
And they've stretched back out to a 5-point lead with possession of the ball. So still a lot of time, about 6 minutes to go. They just have to start tightening the defensive screw.
Andrew Bynum back into the game for the Lakers for the matchup with Tyson Chandler.
Well, and I like that, bringing him back, because that means that David West has to go back to defending Pau Gasol. When Andrew wasn't on the floor, Tyson Chandler guarded Pau.
Chris Paul spacing. It'll be Posey. Gets the triple. It's now a 13-0 run for the Hornets. They're up by 8. That is their second biggest lead of the game. 107-99 New Orleans. 5.5 to play. So now the Lakers desperate for a spurt of their own. Got to get to the rim, get to the free throw line.
Well, it's going to be hard with the way they're trapping Kobe right now.
At a reach. It's only the second team foul, though, on the Hornets. Lakers out of fouls a couple of minutes ago. It'll be the 4th on West.
And what I meant by it's going to be hard, Trevor is a guy that goes to the rim. Everybody else, the other 2 bigs, they're post players.
They space. It's Ariza. Hard off the heel. It'll come out to Chris Paul.
And they're going to live with somebody other than Kobe taking shots. And why not?
Butler's getting help in the matchup with Kobe. Good David West night. He's been the difference. The secondary guy. And it continues. He's up to 37. And a 15-0 run has not been answered by the Lakers.
Biggest lead of the night.
First double-digit lead. as Fish in the corner. Range of three. So finally, after the long dry spell, a lot of time, 4.5 to play, but the Lakers have to come up with some answers at this end of the floor.
And they haven't had any answers thus far.
Chris Paul trying to create contact.
See, now you got to step up, make him put it on the floor.
And off the glass, it'll stay out as Bynum comes up with a key rebound.
I mean, Powell's worried about getting beat off the dribble, but that's what you want. When a guy is hot from the perimeter, you want him going into the defense.
Trevor Ariza stayed out that time. The one he hit in the corner, a lot more arc to it. That was his best looking stroke of the night, as Trevor is just 3 for 10 after the miss. Inside of 4 to play. Inside of 10 on the shot clock. Paul all the way back to Gasol. The opening there for the Lakers now. Been a game of runs. Fish. Who's probing? Nothing available. A lot of time on the shot clock. Derek Fisher is challenged. It'll be saved by Posey. So it didn't touch anything. The Lakers trying to get to it as well. Trevor Ariza. And now concerned with the clock working against the Lakers. Not a lot of spacing with your teammates on the floor. That's what David West had to contend with, but he's going to get to the hole and draw the reach. See, he's attacking, and the Lakers have not been able to really get to the rim here in the fourth. So free throws for David West. That's the 5th on Pau Gasol.
You know, they have players, you know, like David West can attack. You know, that's what I mentioned earlier. Aside from Kobe, off the dribble, the Lakers don't have on the floor right now players that attack off the dribble. Trevor can.
But he has been shooting from outside.
Andrew, post player. Derek, a perimeter guy.
And out of the 10 shots, believe it or not, for Trevor Ariza, at least 6, if not 7 of those 10 have been from beyond the arc. So it would serve him well to attack the basket. It'll be Sasha Vujacic coming in now for Trevor with 3:02 to play and an 8-point deficit for the Lakers. Staring at them right now, their second home loss of the season. And their 6th of the year.
This possession for the Lakers is going to be crucial. They have got to get, 2 or 3 points in this next possession.
David West with 39 points, only a point away from his career high, as he got both free throws. The Lakers just 4 for 18 here in the fourth. Kobe trying to get to the rim, and it's given away. So he was looking past. That was not a shot. And free throws coming up.
No, timeout.
Timeout. Yeah. Fish tried to steal it, but the timeout called by Byron Scott from behind.
Well, the Hornets are in control. They pretty much have been in control of the game the whole. Hornets lead by 9, 2:44 to play. Hornets basketball, and David West having himself quite an evening. 14 out of 23 from the field, 11 out of 12 from the charity stripe. In his spare time, he's picked up 10 rebounds for his 39 points. The only thing he hasn't gotten is an assist. That's why I said you got to make him put it on the floor and be a playmaker. The other thing I might have tried was putting a different face on him. You know, when a player gets hot like that, got to show him different looks.
And you talked about Chris Paul only getting better. Well, the same can be said for David West, who went to his first All-Star game last year and finished in the top 25 in both scoring and rebounding.
And they're going to put a different look on him. They're going to put an Andrew Bynum on him, so now you know he's going to go to the basket. I was thinking more in the form of Trevor Ariza.
Final 2:37 to play. Into the shot clock for West. And knocked away from behind by Fish, picked up by Sasha. So there's one takeaway, but the Lakers down by 9. You can't have any unsuccessful trips, though, at this end of the floor.
You got to be pretty clean from here on out.
Bynum. And it'll be a charge. It'll be a charge on Andrew Bynum. Leaning into David West. 4th on Andrew Bynum. Bad time for a turnover. And for the Lakers, they're 11th of the contest.
And now they're going to just milk as much of the clock as possible, which they do this anyhow. I mean, Chris Paul does a good job of getting his shot attempts when the shot clock is in the single digits.
Down at 8. He tries to split through the pick out top. David West, they won't get it off in time. So the Lakers get the stop, but a full 24 off the clock. That's their worst enemy.
Absolutely. And Byron, you know, obviously he would have liked a shot attempt, but if you're not going, that's the turnover you want. A 24-second violation, not just coming down and throwing it out of bounds. Use up as much of the clock as you possibly can, and they did.
And extending their defense as well, so Derek Fisher will get it in. The Lakers have to pick up pace. There's only a minute 50 to play. Can't walk it up either. Down by 9, Kobe. It'll be over Tyson Chandler. That might do it. Out of bounds with a minute 39 to play. So the Lakers, as hot as they were in the third, that's how cold they've been in the fourth.
The old adage stays true. You live by the long ball. You can also die by the long ball.
After the miss, 4 of 19 shooting for the Lakers as a group here in the fourth and final 12-minute session. Normal situation. Paul into the basket because he had a clear path. And it'll be Chandler batting it out. And that'll make it official in a 9-point game. Lakers out of fouls. Free throws rest of the way anyway. So Chris Paul just hanging on to it. 10 on the shot clock. And when you change directions like he just did and don't change hands on the dribble,
that was nice.
You're cupping it. Just
that was very nice.
A little step back on the baseline. Kobe, line drive. It'll come out to Paul. He's got Butler on a run out. And Kobe will take it away. On the trail, Derek Fisher for the triple. It'll make it 8, but not enough time for the Lakers. As Derek Fisher hits the deck. And a reach by Sasha.
Kobe made a very nice play defensively on Butler. I mean, Butler thinks he's going to get an easy one here, so he goes up, and Kobe not only blocks it, 2 hands, takes it, and goes the other direction. That's some defensive play.
Double technical coming up.
Oh, the famous double T?
Able to Chris Paul and Sasha.
Oh, double technical there.
Well, they put up a double tech originally, and they do. It is a tech on Paul. And a foul on Sasha.
Well, they're shooting a tech.
Right. They've got a double tech on the board for Sasha.
No, they put a technical on Sasha and a personal foul on Sasha. I don't think there's any tech on Chris Paul at all.
Right. They took it off. It was on the board. And now it'll be Paul going to the free throw line after he was fouled. So Chris Paul will shoot 2. The Lakers down by 9. And their record at the end of the night is going to be 27-6. And a snap their 6-game winning streak. Chris Paul putting together a display tonight, and 30 for Paul, 40 for David West. They carried the load.
I talked about limiting Paul in one of the 2 areas. I said you were in trouble when he gets 25 and 15. Well, he has 30 and makes it 31 and 15.
But over the last 3 years against the Lakers, he has averaged 23 and 12 assists. Kobe's got the song. That was right by him. And that kind of sums up the fourth for the Lakers. So now the Hornets just get it in, get it across the line, and it's all over. And New Orleans will have their first win of the season over the Lakers. So the Lakers do not have the season series just yet. There'll be another matchup between these 2 teams here in Southern California. And that'll do it as the Hornets, after starting the season, splitting their first 10 at 5-5, they have recovered quite nicely. You know, and 21-10 is their record.
Good a game as Chris Paul had. The key to the game, though, was David West. I mean, David West really was the difference. I mean, he had 40 on 23 attempts, 11 rebounds. I mean, he was their go-to guy when they needed it.
And Chris Paul's always going to get his. So who's going to be the secondary source and a consistent secondary source? Well, it was not only David West, but David West way beyond anybody's wildest dreams. 40 points. That matches his career best, and it came at the Lakers' expense, as he also got to the free throw line and had a double-double with 11 boards. So the Lakers lose by 11, 116-105, and a very efficient night offensively for the New Orleans Hornets. Let's head downstairs now to Michael Eaves. Michael.
Yeah, Joe, here with the hometown boy, Tyson Chandler. Tyson, the first two meetings between the Hornets and the Lakers this season didn't go your way. The Lakers jumped on you guys early in both of those previous two games in the first half. Tonight, you guys sort of turned the table. You had a halftime lead.
Yeah, we wanted to make it a point to come out aggressive. Like you say, last two games, we were way too much in the hole. Can't fight a good team back like that in the hole. So tonight we wanted to come out aggressive and try to get the lead early.
Difference between the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Third quarter, Kobe got hot. He was making a lot of shots. The fourth quarter, though, you really shut down him, and no one else for the Lakers seemingly could score in your defense.
Yeah, you know what? We did a good job doubling him, though. We played great team defense on Kobe in the fourth quarter, and he distributed the ball, but, guys, weren't making shots for him. So that's how we were able to get through with that.
During the game, Stu Lance made the point that there's a pretty good chance that you two could play again in the playoffs. Did you think that this was a game where you needed to make a statement that we can beat them if we face them again in the playoffs? You didn't want to lose the season series to them as well.
Yeah, you definitely won't. You don't want to give a team like that that much momentum because you're right, we can't see them in the playoffs. And, they come in walking in like they don't feel like they can beat us, or we can beat them. So we're going to come out and make a statement that, we can play with them.
Tyson, it's always good to see you back in L.A. I know the fans probably not too happy with you beating the Lakers, but always good to see you back in SoCal.
Appreciate it. It's always good to be home.
All right, Tyson Chandler, solid effort from him and his Hornets tonight as they knock off the Lakers here at Staples Center, including the playoffs. The Lakers had won 25 straight home games against Western Conference opponents, but it's the Hornets who win it tonight, 116-105. Lakers Live continues when we return. Of course, we're going to hear from Phil Jackson, get more reaction from that Lakers locker room. Also, the superstar comparison between Kobe and Chris Paul, and the latest on Lamar Odom and his hyperextended knee. That's coming up next on Lakers Live.